Hey, my creative friends. My name is Shannon from shannonstudio.com. And I talk about creativity. I talk about how we can have a creative life. I lead a creative life, and I think that there are so many benefits from leading a creative life that it's really worth the time to make a life centered around being creative. And I don't mean just making a project every day, but being able to make projects so then you get the benefits and then you're more creative in other aspects of your life. And it just is this ball that kind of rolls down this mountain, and it's great. So first off, not Valentine's, happy St. Patrick's Day. Wow, am I still in February? That's what you got to ask yourself. No, happy St. Patrick's Day. It's just that we really didn't really celebrate anything today. I mean, Joseph's not going to school. We're not going out. I love cabbage, but we didn't have any. And so, yeah, it didn't even feel like St. Patrick's Day to us. Not wearing green. But happy nonetheless. Maybe you're having a little more St. Patrick festivities in your life. Let's see. Oh, it's National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day. Makes sense, doesn't it? Let's see. So let's talk about our tips today. Things are just really interesting right now. You know that. They're really interesting. But as Joseph said at school today, he has this thing about drawing mazes. And then he brings them to me and then wants me to do them. So he does it, and he's done this today. He did a lot. He's continually done this over time. Months ago he started doing this. I don't even know exactly where he got it from, but he started doing it. So then he's going, oh, you do it so fast. So then I gave him, and then he wants me to do, first off, he wants me to do mazes for him, so then he can do the mazes. And then I gave him a little maze lesson, he goes, how do you do such good mazes? And I said, well, would you like me to teach you how to do some? And he said, yeah. And he was so excited, and he came back, and I don't have the one that he came back with, but it was very detailed, and just, he'd like taken his maze making up a level. So it was great. So we've spent the day doing mazes, which made me think that we're kind of in this little coronavirus maze right now. and so I want you to just kind of visualize when you're doing a maze, how you're going through it. We kind of go through, usually the start's pretty clear. We start off and then we go, and then there's several directions to take. And then when we try one, and then we meet the dead end. And I was telling Joseph today, you got to trick people and make them go down this thing, but then you've got to create a dead end so that they don't find the real paths, but that they have to back up and go try the other thing. He liked that idea of tricking people and then making a dead end. So we're going along, and we're like trying this, and it's a dead end. We're trying that, it's a dead end. But it's kind of like, how long is self-isolation going to be? And if you're not, and then is it going to be required isolation? And, is anyone going to catch the virus in my home? And if that happens, what do we need to do? Because, we got our notice today that we can't go to the doctors at all. And so if we have anything, we have to do it. We are actually very lucky that we have a video. We can contact our doctor by video and have a discussion that way. Then we have to know how the kids. Should I keep my child out? Should I let them go back to school? Are they going to cancel school? So do I wait until they cancel school? And I mean, there's just, then we haven't even gotten to the economics part of it. Do we live paycheck? Do we, when are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to pay the bills? Hey, Tricia. And so we can't, that's kind of like being in that maze where you're going and you're dead, back up, we got a dead end, try another one, go another path, and it's just this confusion. It's not a clear path. What we have right now is we don't have a clear path. And everything in our DNA says we want a clear path. We want to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and just make it clear for us. And nothing's really clear right now. And so we make decisions based on facts. That we're trying to find the facts, and we can't find the facts, and it makes us uncomfortable. Hey, Carrie. And it makes us uncomfortable to not have the facts in order to make the decisions. And so we get in this limbo. And so since we're in this limbo, we go out and buy toilet paper because we do know we're going to need toilet paper. We do, it's a comfort thing where we can feel somewhat in control in an uncontrollable where I can't control the situation. I can control something. And I'm going to do that something, whatever it is that you feel like it is. And so I kind of feel like we're in that maze and we are kind of no clear path. So I was going through this and then had some quotes that I wanted to read. Your Creative Brain, the book Your Creative Brain, he says, or she says, the ability to generate multiple solutions is combined with an upswing in positive emotion that also provides incentive and to keep you interested in your creative project. So, if we translate that, we like multiple solutions to problems. It helps us feel better about things. It makes us feel, an upswing in our mood, upswing in a positive emotion. And so we like that when we can have solutions. But we're not seeing a lot of solutions right now. We're not seeing an end to this. We're not seeing how it's going to play out. We're not sure how it's going to affect our family. There are no solutions for us to see right now. And it makes it really, really hard to deal with an undefined problem, an undefined future. And so when we're in this maze, we're going along, but we're not even, it's like you don't see the end. We don't, when you're looking at a paper maze, you can see the end. But it's almost like being in one of those where it's actually the bushes and, one of those live mazes or the corn mazes or whatever, and you don't see. And your viewpoint is just not. So we're in this thing. And so what's going to happen is if we don't have multiple solutions, obviously it will make our mood not as good as if we had solutions. And so we're going to lose incentive to do the thing. So I just think that another quote that I read in Do Less, Katie Northrup, I think her name is, she said, "Yet most of us spend the vast majority of our lives focusing on everything and therefore really never focusing on anything, especially not the vital things." And I just thought, focus, just by virtue of saying we focus on everything, we really don't focus on anything. And when you're doing a maze, you have to focus on where the end is, like the paper maze anyways. You have to focus on where the end is because you got to keep going back and drawing and rerouting and figuring out just to get to that maze, that end of the maze. And we become very focused on what we're doing. So it made me think about a couple of things in this situation in particular. Is that, here's a quote from the same book, Do Less, by Katie Northrup. "What I found really helps me focus on what really matters is reverse engineering my life based on what matters to me the most." So have you ever taken a maze and instead of starting at the paper maze, and instead of starting at the beginning, you start at the end and go backwards? Because somehow it's like easier sometimes, because in the beginning it seems like there's lots of choices, but at the end there's not so many. And so I've done it before, did it today, went from the back and then went backwards. So kind of reverse engineered the maze. So what she's saying is, I have to pick what I want at the end, what I want to focus on, and then I'm going to reverse engineer it. I'm going to find out what are the steps if I go backwards to what I want, from what I want to where I am, what are those steps? And that's going to help me to get to where I'm going to better. And I think that's kind of what we have to do right now, because we don't really see where this is all heading and where it will all land and how long it will take before it lands. And so I think we're all kind of wondering. So I was thinking about this tonight. I thought, okay, I first off can take a shorter view. So not do a gigantic maze, but just a little maze. What do I want to come out of this with? What attitude do I want to have during this process? What is my end goal from living through coronavirus? what does that look like? Do I want to be a helper and engage? There are lots of people on my creative feeds who are doing J. Kirk Richards, Emily Jeffords, Sarah Jane Wright. They're all doing creative things for free to include people. So they've thought, I want to do this in order to get through this process. What do you want to do, and what do you want to focus on for the short term? So that's what we have to ask ourselves. And I've been thinking about, what do I want to do? I don't want to just jump out and do something because everybody else is doing it. Is what do I really want to do? And I've been thinking a little bit about it, and I kind of, Joseph knows about coronavirus, but he does, and I kind of want it to be that way. I don't want to focus on that a lot. I want to focus on doing mazes and having him make his makeup games, and we play his makeup games and play Uno. So, I'm kind of feeling like that's where I want to go. So if I reverse engineer that, then it means I don't have the news on 24/7. It means I don't rush around doing certain things, that I take it very slow. And Rose says, yes, what can we learn from this? Exactly. So reverse engineering what you want to focus on. The other thing, so there were two things I thought, and the other thing is to compartmentalize. I do this all the time when I'm doing projects. So right now I'm doing two projects, the fabric collection, which I'm reworking, which I am liking the direction that's going in, kind of just totally pulled back, tried to take an objective view to what was going on, and yeah, it was a good thing. It'll be a better collection, like I've said before. So I pull back, but then I also have this business thing I'm doing with the women in my church. And so I have both things, and they're both pretty timely. I have another class Friday. I'm already supposed to have had the handouts out in the group, and I haven't finished that. And so they're both kind of weighing on me a little bit. They're both, I feel like, vital. But what happens is, if I think about one while I'm doing the other, it's just I never give 100% to what I'm doing. So I compartmentalize. I'm only going to work on this, not going to think about the other. Then when I switch over, I think about this and not the other. I think we need to compartmentalize a little bit, going, okay, I'm not going to worry about the economics right now because we have enough to get us by. So I'm not going to worry about how are we going to deal with this and our finances later on. What is it going to look like for us? And get all panicked about when we don't have facts, we don't have understanding, we don't know how it's all going to land as far as the bigger picture in society, let alone our small picture. So compartmentalize. Just tell yourself, I will deal with that, but I'm not going to deal with it now. And then focus on what can I do in the short term. Like if you're self-isolating, what can we do in the short term, and have a specific focus and goal. So then, you're going to feel like you're going through your personal little COVID-19 maze just fine. You have a little bit of control over what you can have control over. So I just kind of felt like, I know people are talking about a lot, but I just feel like I wanted, I wasn't planning on talking about it, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of what's happening in our lives right now. So why don't you tell me how you're focusing or helping yourself to get through some of the uncertainty of it and what we don't know, and how you're how you're working through it with your family. So, and because I would be totally interested to see how other people are feeling about it. It's almost easy when you're kind of in your, we're just like in our house. It's almost, and we don't understand Swedish, so Swedish TV's out, and I don't even have to watch the news so much because Alan is watching it and taking notes and stuff, and so he comes home and we discuss it. So I can just focus on, Joseph and what's happening here. So I'm not feeling a lot of anxiety that maybe others are feeling. So tell me what you're doing. Tell me if you are what you're taking advantage of with the extra time. And we'll keep writing through this together, because I'm definitely going to be here tomorrow. I've been here 230 days in a row. And so, you can expect me here tomorrow. So in the meantime, remember you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. I will be back tomorrow. Bye.